So today we are talking about 9 very important reasons why you need to start a business today, whether it's a side business or a main business. These are the 9 top reasons why you need to start those today. All right, we're going to start with number 9 here. Number 9, oh, I already erased that one. Number 9 is, well, this one's kind of obvious. All right, this one's just super obvious, the extra money. You know what? The extra money is pretty sweet. I mean, when I started my side businesses in university and in my dorm room, like that extra few $100 a month went a very, very long way when you're a student. And so imagine that. Imagine whatever position you're in, whether you're making 30 grand a year, 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year. I mean, think about what an extra $500 a month would do for you. An extra 6 grand a year. That's pretty good. I mean, 6 grand a year, especially if you're making closer to $30,000 or $25,000. I mean, that's what I was doing when I just started. Just started doing some online YouTube stuff for fun on my science channel long years ago now. $500 a month when I started went a pretty long way on top of everything else. So the extra money is really good. It can really help you in your life too. I mean, it's just that extra stress. For some of you that can pay rent, especially if you're sharing an apartment with someone else and your rent is like $500 or $600 a month, you're paying rent through your side business. Imagine what that feels like for your side business to pay for your rent, to pay for a large portion of your living expenses. So that's reason number 9 is the extra money. It just relieves stress, to be honest. Number 8 is you get to build stuff. Build something new. This isn't exactly for everyone, but building something new, it's fun. It is really, really fun when you get to build something, watch something grow. For some people, I know some people want to watch something grow, so that's why they want kids. They want to sculpt something in a really cool way and watch them grow up. And it's like you're seeing something you created grow up. And hopefully you will become a fantastic person. That's kind of the same with the business. Some people call their business their baby, because that's what it is. I mean, me, for example, like everything I have right now, it's like my baby. It's like growing up right now. And as the income grows, as the revenue grows, it's like your baby's growing up. You put so much time and effort into it that it's so rewarding to actually have your business grow. Like it actually makes you feel better about yourself. It makes you feel, it gives you a lot more self-worth by simply having a side business or a main business. So that's what I think. Number 8 is build something new. Number 7, okay, so we're going to get into some different stuff here. We're going to talk about taxes. Taxes, we'll just leave it at that, taxes. So the tax advantages you get when you run your own business is absolutely amazing. In terms of the business expenses that you can write off, it's absolutely unbelievable. So I'll give you an example here. We're just going to use the YouTube as an example here. So if you're making an income from YouTube, essentially anything that you require to make a video, anything you put in a video, anything that revolves around a video, you can write it off. I mean, if I talk about a movie in one of my videos, theoretically, and it's the centerpiece, and it's like a decent part of one of my videos, I can write it off, the cost of the ticket. A lot of the travel vloggers, they get to write off all their travel expenses because that's what they do to earn money. This camera that I'm filming with right now, this camera, expense, because I've used it to make lots of money from it. All right, all these lights here, expenses. Some of this rent can be expensed. Some of it, not all of it though. That's a little bit of a gray area according to my accountant, to my tax guy. And so it's cool, like even you could actually write off part of your mortgage in certain cases if you work from home. So the tax advantages that come along with working for yourself in terms of business expenses is absolutely unbelievable. If you're an employee, you can kind of write some of that stuff off, but you can't write a lot of it stuff off. A lot of it's a company expense or you got to pay for it yourself. So business expenses, like it can, for example here, so again, there's a real possibility I'm going to make, over $100,000 this year. However, I can knock down my tax bracket if I wanted to, which I might, probably down 50 grand this year if I really wanted to. So we're talking about stuff I could do like advertising, anything revolving around the studio or online business or sales or consulting work that I do or real estate stuff that I do, that's all expensible. And so I don't really know where I'm going to lie in the tax bracket because I can knock it down. I have full control over how much taxes I want to pay this year, essentially. I mean, if I really, really wanted to, I could knock myself down to the tax bracket where I don't really have to pay taxes. So if that's something that interests you, you might want to look into it. All right, so you get big tax advantages if you run your own business and side business too. So we're going to move on to number 6 here. Oh, number 6 I like. Number 6 is status. I've talked about this one before, but when you run your own business and you're successful at it, whether it's a side business or a main business, people think of you a little bit differently. People think you're a little bit crazy, that's what they think. And 2, they get a little bit intimidated by you because you have very high expectations for your business. You have a full capability of running a business. You are very skilled in a lot of ways. That's usually what it takes. I mean, I've been talking to my friends and like they've been kind of putting me in a higher kind of category recently since I've started doing this, I guess. Like they used to kind of talk down to me a little bit when I was in high school and kind of a dumbass. Oh, I wasn't a dumbass, but I wasn't really making much money and I was really quiet and shy and all that stuff. And then now that recently they've been talking up to me as I've been meeting with a lot of them recently this year. And it's a little bit different, like, especially, you know, my girlfriend, again, she said this too right when I started dating her. And I started dating her and building my business at the businesses roughly at the same time. And so one of the things that she said about me a few months in, like, when I first met you, like, I was really intimidated by you. You have all these high aspirations, you want to do all this stuff with your business, you have dreams of high income and all that stuff. And she's like, I found it really intimidating. Your ambition is what's intimidated. And that's what I want you guys to be like. Your ambition, your drive should be intimidating to other people. I mean, so the average person doesn't really have that much ambition. Whether you might think you do right now, you probably don't. I mean, I've talked about this, like I'm completely serious when I say I want to make $1 million a year before the age of like 28. And I think I'm going to do it. And so I don't know what path that's going to take. All right, but my trajectory says, my trajectory right now, I will be a little bit under that, potentially in like 5-6 years. 23 right now, but I'm probably going to happen by the time I'm 30 at least. I hope, maybe not. But just be ambitious. I know a lot of you are thinking I'm crazy, like $1 million a year. That's what it takes sometimes. You got to really think that you're going to do it. You got to be confident. You got to have that ambition, that drive. That's the reason I work 12 hours a day. It's that ambition. All right, we're actually going to get into a little bit more of that in reasons, I think number 3 or 4 or 5 or 2 or something. Anyways, we're just going to move on here. I spent a lot of time on that. Number five could be your main career. So this is something that's important because if you build a side business and start building a side business and it cash flows and you're making more money every month, it could become your main business. And think about that. You kind of get to pick what field your side business is in, and then you get to build it. And then the field that you've chosen, the field that you probably love or like doing stuff in, that gets to be your job now. That gets to be your career. So for example, I use this example all the time. So if you're a graphic designer and you work at a company and maybe you really like doing comics, like drawing comics or illustrations, but there they want you to do website work and do some sort of graphics for that, even though it's in your field, you don't really like specifically what you're doing. In your side business, if you are drawing comics and doing illustrations and you somehow monetize that, then it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun doing something that you truly like doing. It makes you happier. I can promise you that. It makes you so much happier. For me, I was in the real estate game for years and years and years. I was working for someone else, but sure, I would do really important stuff every now and then, but so much of what I was doing was grunt work. And now there was a lot of benefits of that job, trust me. Like there was learning and getting the experience and knowing how to sell, knowing how to build a business. But I was doing so much grunt work that I didn't really like it. Like I was doing honestly like hole punching papers sometimes and stapling and going and running and getting my bosses, drinks or office supplies and stuff. I didn't like doing any of that stuff, and then eventually I found a way where I could get into real estate, consulting and become an agent, right? And then that was a lot more fun for me. And that's what it would be like for you. Maybe you're a landscaper right now and you want to be a musician. And like, you get to pick the field you work in, and it could be your main career. It's really, really cool once it actually happens to you. We're going to move on to number 4 here, which is really simple, actually. Actually, I overlapped these two. So 4 is the field, right? So 4 is the field. I already talked about that. So number 3, sorry. There's a big overlap there. My apologies. Number 3 is flexibility. Flexibility. So I just want to say this. When you start a side business, the first 2 years suck. I mean, I got lucky the first 6 months it sucked. But the first 2 years usually sucks for most people, for most side businesses. You're probably going to put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's only going to make you a little bit of money. It might make you a few $100 a month, which is a lot for some people, but I would consider for the average person, $1,000 a month would be a big change in your life. If you were to make $1,000 a month in a side business, that's a lot of money for the average person, because the average person makes $33,000 a year. An extra $1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. That's bumping up your income 40% by just doing that. So flexibility, pretty much being able to run a business means that you have to get to spend time however you want. And one of my most upvoted Reddit comments, yes, I comment on Reddit, is I kind of explained what it's like to be able to pick what you do with your time. And so I remember waking up one day, and it was at 4 p.m. It was at 4 p.m. and I was taking a day off for the first time in like a month. And I was writing this Reddit comment like, hey, I get to wake up at 4 p.m. today. I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and that's how I want to live life. Is that something that you guys want to do? Sure, you're going to probably have to work 12 hours a day, but still. And for some of you, I know that a lot of you are like 25 years old or so, 25, 26, 27 years old. Some of you are 30s. Usually my demographic peaks at about 35 years old. So some of you probably have family. Some of you probably have kids. Some of you probably have girlfriends, wives, husbands, boyfriends that you want to see more. And one of the things for me is that, sure, you're not going to have the typical 9 to 5. You may not be able to see them on weekends, but like, I get to see my girlfriend on weekdays. Like, she lives about an hour away from me, 45 minutes away from me, and I get to pick. Like, she has a typical 9 to 5 job, but I have the freedom to see her essentially whenever I want, because I don't have to work on Thursdays. I don't have to work on Wednesdays if I don't want to. Now I do, but occasionally I'll take those days off. Sure, why not? Do you want that flexibility? Do you want the flexibility to drive your kids to school every day, to see your girlfriend or boyfriend whenever you want, to not have the typical 9 to 5 job? It's not for everyone. I was actually talking to someone recently at an event, and they pretty much, I was explaining to them like what my daily life is like, and they said I could never do that. I could never do that. I can never, work for 10, 12 hours a day, every day, 14 hours a day. Sometimes, I'm going to talk about this in a separate video, sometimes 18 to 20 hours a day. I can never do that knowing that some days you can make $1,000 in a day and some days you can only make $100. It all depends. So it's not for everyone, but having that flexibility is really, really cool. Being able to work whenever you want, however you want. And actually, we're going to get to the next part here. I don't want to do another overlap. We're going to talk about number 2. This was going to be number 1, and it could be number 1. This is probably tied with number 1, which is you're excited to work every day. This is the big thing about entrepreneurs, successful ones. I mean, I've been an employee, guys. I've been just like a lot of people watching this. I've been an employee, and there's those days, everyone has them, where you just get up and you just don't want to go to work. And that's like 50% of the days or 70% of the days for a lot of employees. Sometimes that's every day. And I can tell you this, when you start your own business and it starts to become successful, you are so excited to get to work every day. It's like you never have enough hours to work. It's like a good thing. It's really good. I mean, I wake up every day and I'm excited. I'm so excited to get to the office and start working. It is the strange feeling. It's hard to explain. But this is one of the reasons why you need to start a business, so that you can be excited about your life every day. I cannot drill this into you enough how important this has been for me personally, but what it's like for everyone that starts a business. The fact that you're waking up every day and you're happy and excited and you're motivated and there's new things happening every day, I mean, that's what you want out of life. And so generally I say, yeah, the first 2 years are going to suck. You might not want to work every day, but like after that, if you're willing to put in the time and effort, I mean, it's so rewarding in the long run. You're so much happier. Life is great once it starts taking off. So being excited about your life every day, being excited about work every day, that's big. That is really big, guys. So that's number 2. And number 1, again, number 1 could be number 2 could be number 1, but number 1 is control your life. This is the reason why I like money. This is the reason why Kevin O'Leary started his company. I'll tell you the story about Kevin O'Leary. I've told it before. So Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank guy, big investor, sold a toy company and also a software toy company, and now he runs an investment firm. So the reason why he started a company was because when he was like 17 or 16 or 18 years old, he worked at an ice cream shop, and his job when he interviewed for it was to scoop ice cream and just sell ice cream. Be a normal person at the counter, do the cash, all that stuff. And so one day his boss said to him, go and scrape the gum off the floor. And then he said, no, I don't want to do that. And then she said, get on your knees and scrub the floor. And he said no, and she fired him. He said no. Obviously, there's two sides to this. Usually if you're, working for someone else, you're just supposed to do what you're told kind of thing. I understand that he said no, but in this case, if you're an entrepreneur, you really hate that. Hate that someone has that control over your life. And so that's what he said, the reason why he wanted to start a business. And he never worked for someone else ever again after that. The reason why he wanted to start a business was because he didn't want anyone to have control over his life. Again, ever. And that's the reason why he wanted to become successful. And that's probably the number 1 reason why I wanted to become successful. So for some of you, it's number 2, being excited every day. For me, that could be number 1. But my main goal when I started all this was freedom. Freedom to do whatever I want, to have full creative control over my work, to not being, I don't have to, even though I had a great boss, by the way. I had a great boss, fantastic, like I could not ask for a better one. But it's just, when you're going out to go do errands, like that's not what you signed up for. I didn't want to go and pick up stuff, staples, like I didn't want to have to walk a few kilometers to go pick up staples. I wanted to do some real estate marketing and some sales, and I did end up doing a lot of that stuff. However, still like going out and getting coffee and stuff is not what I really wanted to do, right? And so now I have full creative control. Now I'm looking at hiring people. I've been saying that for a month now. I really need to hire someone, especially to take care of my social media, because I just cannot do that. Social media and emails, there's not enough hours in the day. And so actually, funny enough, when Gary Vee says the reason, he responds to everyone on social media, but I was kind of thinking it's because he doesn't have all the other responsibilities that startup entrepreneurs have. A lot of, for me, it ranges from going and calling and marketing and flyers and all this stuff and looking up stuff online to editing videos, filming videos, coming up with video ideas. He doesn't have to do any of that stuff. He has someone literally follow him around all day, 8 hours a day, film the video, edit him himself, tag it all, put the thumbnails up, upload it, market it, tweet it all out, put it on Facebook. He has someone else to do all that for him. And he has someone else to respond to his emails. And so when say, hey, Jack, you don't respond to all your tweets and messages and emails and stuff, and Gary Vee does, he has people for that. I'm going to, I promise you, it's coming very close. It's coming very close right now. I'm probably going to hire a family member to do it. But it's just, what I'm trying to say here is that I have control over my life now. All right, now I don't have to run errands. I can pay someone else to run errands for me now. If I really wanted to, I still do them myself because I don't like paying people money that I could, use for investing or do myself. But I have full control over my life. I don't have to rely on someone else for a paycheck. I don't have, I remember this when I was an employee, counting the days until I got my paycheck. Counting the days. And I would usually get paid, roughly every 10 work days like the average employee. I was an independent contractor though, so it was kind of, it's hard to explain. I was a little bit of a gray area there. But still, like I remember I was like on day 8 and I was like, oh man, I have to wait 2 more days to get paid. And now I don't have to think about that anymore. I don't have to think about that. I get to command when I get paid. Well, somewhat. I have to find customers and clients and things along those lines. But I mean, full control over your life, not having to rely on a boss, not having to. Another thing too is like, if you have a partner, I mean, for example, if you have a partner that makes a lot of money, and you have a high-class lifestyle, if you're spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, and you do a lot of fun stuff, maybe you live together and they pay for a lot of stuff, you're semi-reliant on them for your lifestyle. And that's another thing too, like if you build up your own business, you have control over your life. Or you don't have to rely on anyone else. You don't have to rely on your parents sometimes. So that's a big one. The moment from when you start a lot of people start your side business when you're 18 years old, 19, 20, 21 years old. And then I remember the moment, like for me, I started paying for my stuff when I was like 17 when I got my corporate job. But I remember the moment when you start paying for your living expenses and not using your parents' stuff and cards and cash, like that's the first rewarding moment on your journey. And now all of a sudden, like, I remember right when I started making my own money, I got a little bit cocky with my parents and a little bit disrespectful. Like whenever they tell me to do something, like I know I didn't have to do it. I was making enough money to move out if I really wanted to, right? And I would still do chores and mow the lawn and dishes and all that stuff. But like, I didn't say yes to all the chores anymore just because I was living. I mean, I could do whatever I wanted. I had control over my life now. All right, I didn't have to rely on parents. I never had to rely on, girlfriends or whatever. I never had to rely on someone else. I rely on myself. And so having that full control is something I wish that you could all experience. So I think that's going to wrap this video up. What do you guys think of this? These are the 9 reasons why it's important to start a business today. And the last 2 here, are so important for just your happiness in life, guys. I cannot, like I've said this so many times in videos, it's like night and day. It's night and day from being employee to employer or employee to just self-employed. Your happiness level it's so much higher. Even though you might be more stressed out, you're going to be so much happier about it. So what do you guys think of this list? Did I leave anything out? What is your most important thing about starting your own business? Why would you want to start one? What's your number 1 reason? So those, I still think these 2 are for me. Some of you, it's probably money. A lot of you just want to make some money, and that's cool. I mean, that's one of the things that gives you freedom. But anyways, that's going to wrap this video up. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people. Oh yeah, so I guess I forgot to mention actually that if you want to learn more about starting a side business, in a main business, whatever, I've had great reviews from my Wealth Accelerator course. I think we have like 100 people in there. And so if you guys want to take a look at that, I think we have 100 people. No. I think we have like 75 people or something in there. Everyone's loved it so far. So go check that out. It teaches you how to start a side business, how to run a business, what I did, my steps to go from employee to employer or employee to self-employed. And it's a little bit of a long process. I mean, there's 8 to 12 hours of content in that course. You just go through it and I'll just kind of show you what it takes to run a business, how to start one, how to start a side business, and so on. So that's going to wrap it up. Check that out in the link below. Thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people. I'll see you guys in the next video.